So let's say you look at all the requirements that your client has given you. So in this example, let's say the client is trying to implement a customer rewards program where it's trying to give customers incentive to buy from it. So in this case, this is the most important requirement, the effective customer incentives, and then you list all the other requirements that the client has given you. Like, say, for example, it's easy to use, or in the future we have to be able to make changes. We have to be able to accommodate like multiple customers, more locations, things like that. And you also include your constraints, like how much are the upfront costs, how much are the monthly costs, how many staff we need to implement. And on the other side, we are comparing our three alternatives. So in this case, the three alternatives are three different softwares. But in your case, it might be three different templates, or three different processes, or three different ways to go about it. So now continuing with the example, let's say the three alternatives are named SBSI, XRI, and Nova. Again, your names are going to be different. So our most important requirement was effective customer incentives. So let's say we weighted this 15, and all the other requirements we weighted less. Now these are in multiples of 5 and 10, but you don't have to do it that way. The constraint, similarly, like the most important constraint, let's say, was purchase cost. So we rate this the highest, so the weight is 15, and the other constraints are weighted less. Now we start rating our three options. So let's say for our biggest requirement, effective customer incentives, SPSI does the best job. So we give it a rate of 5, and we multiply it by our weight of 15, and so we arrive at our score of 75. However, XRI and Nova do like a little bit worse than SPSI, so we give them a rating of 4 each. And then we multiply this by the weight of this requirement, which is 15. And so those two get a score of 60 for this particular customer incentive. Okay, so now similarly with the constraints, the purchase cost, let's say SPSI is the most expensive to buy. However, XRI is a little cheaper and Nova is the cheapest. So in this case, we're multiplying these ratings 3, 4, and 5 by the purchase cost, which is 15. So SPSI, we multiply 3 and 15, so we get 45. XRI, we multiply 4 and 15, and we get 60. Nova, we multiply 5 and 15, and we get 75. So similarly, we rate all the other requirements as well as rate all the other constraints, and we get our list of scores for each of these three alternatives. And then we add them all up, and we see that in this case, XRI is our winner.